tissues. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Come on in.
Happy Saturday, y'all.
Yes, happy
Saturday nights. Welcome to Raw's podcast.
Yes. Done. Hey to everybody who's been following us and any new people out there watching us. Hey, how y'all? Happy weekend.
Definitely gonna be one for the books tonight. You know, as ladies always have some good things to talk about and some deep topics, so make sure you tune in.
Yes, so we're just giving everybody time to come in. Y'all know that we like to dive straight into it, so we're not going to wait too long. But I do want to say happy weekend to everyone before we get into this deep topic for tonight.
Yes.
We just want to make it clear that this is a, heartfelt, close topic. This is a judgment-free zone, which we will get into that. And we want everybody to understand this is a sacred place. And we give love, we give protection, and we will respect each other's honesty and truth.
Yes,
absolutely.
Always, always a sacred place here on Raw. Period.
Yes. Yeah. So I just do want to say again to everybody, I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Everybody, please wrap up. It's really cold. Let's protect our health. Let's take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, especially.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You go.
Oh, but anyway, we'll go ahead. We're giving y'all time to come in. But for y'all who are already with us, welcome to Kicking It Raw, a platform for men and women where we come together and where we keep it real and raw. As always, this is a judgment-free zone, safe space. Any negativity of any kind, you will be deleted and blocked immediately.
Yes. And as always, we talk about conversations that are very sacred to us, whether it's financial, whether it's politics, whether it's self-healing. Tonight we're talking about suicide. We're really open to all topics. It's really not anything that's off limit with us.
Right.
We understand that we go through life experiences, and we know that you guys do too. This is a judgment-free zone, as we stated. No negativity will be allowed. Sacred and safe space here with us. And if you don't know, you're new to our podcast, which we know we have a lot of newcomers.
Yes.
My name is Miss Tamika.
My name is Miss Danielle.
And I'm Miss D.
Yes, and we are the ladies of Raw, of course.
So I want to get straight into it, you guys. I don't want to hold us up. I see a lot of people coming in. Hey, we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes.
Share this, please. This can help save a life. And we're going to go ahead and straight and jump into it, okay? So tonight, we are talking about suicide, okay? The cry out for help for suicide. So I wanted to read something to you guys before we get straight into it.
Mm-hmm.
So suicide is the act of intentionally causing one's own death, caused by mental disorders, physical disorders, substance abuse, alcoholism, and so many more. Okay? And I wanted to put that out there because suicide can come in many different forms for many different reasons. Okay, and factors. So we're going to get straight to it. Thank you guys. We appreciate the hearts and the cares. This is a lot. We do have the box of tissue on the couch for us in case we get emotional and we cry, because we all have emotions. We're human. We all face things. Whether it's us or our loved ones going through certain situations, it can affect us all. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get straight into it, okay? We love y'all. Y'all showing a lot of love tonight with them hearts and cares. Mm-hmm. We appreciate that. So the first question of tonight, and we're going to get straight into it. What's the first word that comes to you when you hear the word suicide? And we can get these questions in the chat. That'll be great. Anybody, you, Ms. Danielle, whoever. What's the first word that comes to you when you hear the word suicide? And we'll go from there, okay? So the first word that I hear when I hear suicide, I hear pain. Pain is the first word that comes to me when I hear the word suicide. Why it comes to me when I hear the word suicide is because it's so painful. I hear pain. I feel pain. I see the pain. So when I hear the word suicide, the first word that comes to me is pain. And yeah, it's already making me emotional just talking about that first question. Miss Danielle, what is the first word that comes to you when you hear the word suicide?
Death.
Death, okay. You want to elaborate or no? That's just your word. I just elaborated, but you don't have to.
You know, death, because to me, suicide just relates. When I think of suicide, someone is, trying to harm themselves, and due to reasons or many reasons that some of what you mentioned, and some that we know that some people go through, and some reasons that we did mention. But yeah, death is what comes straight to my head when I think of suicide.
Thank you, Miss D. Would you like to share?
Yes. So when I hear the word suicide, the first word that comes to mind is sadness. Sadness for a lot of reasons, because I know for a person to get to that point or speak of or think about suicide, it's a lot of sadness in there. Either they're dealing with sadness, emotionally sadness. The people who are left behind from that is, or around that person, is sadness. It's just that word itself has a lot of sadness around it.
I love that. And the first question, everyone who's joining us, we love y'all. Tonight we are talking about suicide. It's very deep. Mm-hmm. It's very serious. If you need to cry, step away, whatever you need to do. Or if this is just going to be healing for you. Some people, they really just want that healing. So the first question was, what's the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word suicide? So we're going to get into the second question, okay? We're going to keep it moving. Have you ever experienced or tried to commit suicide? And what did that feel like? Wow, nerves just went through my body when I read that. Because this relates to me. It's very relatable. So I'll let Ms. D answer first. If she's okay with answering first, because, we want to make sure everybody's comfortable.
All right, and reiterate that question.
Yes. So I'll let Ms. Danielle start first, if you want to type that. So it's going to be, the second question is, have you ever experienced or tried to commit suicide, and what did that feel like for you? Ms. Danielle, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, so for me, the thought of wanting to harm myself or, just end life was after my mom passed. I was in a room, a lot was going through my mind, a lot of emotions, etc., etc. And it came across my mind. It only stayed with me for a good 30 minutes, and then I thought about my children, and I'm like, my kids need me, so let me snap out of this. So I would say it was a thought in my mind, but for like 30 minutes, and then it's like, okay, snap out of it, get yourself together. You got things to do, and you got kids to live for, and you got to carry on with life. Life has to keep moving.
Yes, I love that. Misty, I'll let you go next. I am getting overwhelmed with emotions, everyone. Misty, you can go whenever you're ready.
So just to reiterate the question, have you ever experienced or tried to commit suicide, and what did that feel like? So yes, both ends. I have attempted suicide in my life. I've had thoughts of suicide in my life several times. And it wasn't a good feeling. I was in a very bad headspace, dealing with on and off depression for years, honestly, since probably childhood, and didn't never realize what it was until I was an adult. But
right.
The first time I've ever tried to actually commit suicide was my junior year in high school. I had went through one of the darkest points in my life. My depression was probably at the all-time high during that point. I had already been dealing with substance abuse, smoking cigarettes, things like that, drinking, and was going through a lot, and didn't really have many people to talk to. And the people I tried talking to, like, explaining what was going on, nobody was really trying to listen and stuff, things of that nature. And I basically shut down. I stopped going to school. I missed school for maybe 4 months straight. I was in my room nonstop. I didn't come out at all. I just stayed in my room. I wasn't eating. I started off basically, like I said, substance abuse. Then I started burning myself. And then I started having other thoughts in darkness, and was just like, things would get better if I'm just not here no more. All the pain, all the hurt, everything would be so much better. It would go away if I'm not here. So I did try ODing on prescriptions and alcohol. It did not work, clearly, because I'm still here. God had a purpose for me. And then several times throughout the year, I did have those thoughts again. I did not intentionally act on them during those times, but each time it was a dark space in my head and things of that nature. It was very sad. And then a couple of years ago, which I spoke on it a little bit on Raw's podcast, but back in, I believe it was our first, or going into our second year, I had a point again where I was having suicidal thoughts. I didn't want to live anymore. I was back into a very dark space. And if it wasn't for the ladies of Raw, I probably still wouldn't. And God, I wouldn't be here. I had a plan and everything. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, how I wanted to go. I had it all planned out, and it was only one reason why I'm still here, but it was definitely a very hard time mentally for me during that time as well.
So thank you, ladies, for sharing that, because you guys know that we talk about everything. We're very uncut and open with you guys about our life experiences or the ones we love. Like we said, even if we're not experiencing, we know somebody who is. These conversations are not always easy. My nerves are really shot because it's just not always easy to talk about something so openly or freely, knowing that it was very painful or hard for you, or a traumatic situation for you. So if you are watching this and it's hard for you to speak on it in the comments, don't be so hard on yourself, and understand that others have experienced the same thing. I do want to ask you, before I ask you, Misty, I do want to ask you, you said yours lasted for 30 minutes, which even 30 minutes can be a lot, right? Let's just be honest. In those 30 minutes, you said you had to snap out of it, and your kids brought you back, right? So during those 30
my mind and my kids,
So during those 30 minutes, you snapping out of it to say, no, I got to keep pushing. How did it make you feel once you snapped out of it and realized, wow, like, I really just had thoughts of suicide? Or it didn't hit you then, or you really didn't think of it?
I really didn't think any farther of it. It was just, okay, back to life.
A lot of us do that.
Back to life. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep moving.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us do that because, we were taught a lot to, push through the pain and keep going no matter what you're going through, not knowing that we're really numbing the surface. And I feel like that's really tough for a lot of us. And just me talking about it makes me so emotional, because we always have to, like, numb a lot of the pain and traumatic things that we experience. And I feel like normalizing now where I'm at now with my healing journey and at my age, I let myself feel the emotions that I'm feeling, instead of, always putting up a wall and numbing it, because that is actually what was hurting me worse. So thank you for sharing that.
I don't think I numbed mine. I just think that I didn't have time to focus, not on the suicide, but I didn't have time
to really
focus on losing my mom, and of course my brother before that. So it wasn't that I numbed mine. To me personally, it wasn't that I numbed it. It's just that I have things to do. I have to get up. Well, I don't have time to sit and
But
in
we
their
all should
craziness.
have time, which is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't
to the
personally
world.
want it to sit in that. So
Yeah,
no, I don't.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Me,
I mean, I don't.
I'm
you know,
50-50 with mine, everyone, because I do not like to replay or sit in anything that I've experienced. But I've also learned the beauty in it, you guys. Sitting in it actually helps me look at the root of the problem. It helps me heal from that situation. It helps me grow. So I'm 50-50 with mine. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, like I don't want to replay that. I don't want to think about it. But it's like, no, you need to really sit in this. So I understand what you're saying.
Like sitting in the fact of the thought
Like
of a
you
suicide,
need to,
or you
no.
mean the emotions?
When I'm saying sit in it, I'm saying accept the emotions that's coming with it.
I mean, I accepted my emotions, but not the fact of the thought of the suicide for that split second.
Yeah, but I also think that's a problem too for us because a lot of people, a lot of people are battling. But I feel like that's because we don't want to face it head on, guys. Right? We don't want to accept or sit in. Oh my gosh, I'm having suicidal thoughts, or I'm suicidal, or whatever. Nobody really wants to just sit in something like that. So I feel like we're quick to run away from it, right? Which is great. We need to get away from it, of course. But we also got to understand, oh my gosh, we need to think about it. I'm having suicidal thoughts, or I'm suicidal. This is deeper than what I think. I need to really look into this. And I feel like because we're so busy, rushing or trying to get away from it, get out of it, we got to understand, okay, regardless, I need to find out the root of this, if y'all get what I'm saying.
We also don't allow ourselves to process those emotions.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
We don't process them. You move on, or you basically, some people, you might as well say, it's brushed under their emotions. They brush under the rug and keep going, but they don't ever actually take time to process it and go through those emotions.
Because sometimes you can have suicidal thoughts and you're like, why am I feeling this way?
I mean,
that's the best time.
Feeling that way.
Yeah,
I lost two
you knew why.
in my life, and a lot of things shifted with how my life was going to be ran. So that's a lot to take on. Like, okay, now, like, everything's totally shifting, everything's totally changing. But, at the same time, like I said, I had to, okay, let's snap out of it. Let's keep it moving. I don't have time to soak in this. Like, I'm not going to soak in this for one. I have things to do. That's how I felt.
I feel like what would have benefited me, and I haven't answered the question yet, but what would have benefited me, you guys, is actually sitting in it for a healing purpose. That's what would have helped me. Mine was horrific. So I feel like all of us, if we're going to learn how to accept our emotions and heal through things, the first step is actually acknowledging what you're battling and then saying, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to heal through this. That's what would be.
And plus, when you have responsibilities, you don't have time to sit and soak and stuff at all. That's not even a question. I mean, for me personally, but
I feel like it depends. It depends on the person's life. The person may have someone who can, take things off their hand. They might say, hey, I'll cover your bills for a few months, or hey, I'll watch over your kids. It depends on the person's life. Some people actually do have that free will to be like, okay, you are suffering and I'm not going to let you go through that alone. I'm here. I feel like a lot of us battle with that. I have to go because we may not have that free will, if y'all get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't like people interfering when I'm dealing with. I just like to be alone anyway, so I don't even know if I would have reciprocated, even if I had someone.
Yeah, and then sometimes
I probably wouldn't even reciprocated that.
And then, but that's a beautiful thing, even if you do have that, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like me, I wouldn't even had accepted that because I was so far out of it. If you guys get what I'm saying. So I can't accept anything when nothing is going on with me. I'm out of it. So that's a whole nother story. But I wanted to ask you, Miss D, you said it started off in high school, substance abuse, drugs, whatever, alcohol, whatever. You was in a dark place. You planned a lot of things, you know. So, you know, when you experience these things, did you ever feel like, okay, what's going on? I'm so young. I'm battling this stuff. Do I need to go talk to someone? Like, did you feel like I still have something to fight for at all in any of that? Because that's a lot, you know, in high school at a young age, which I know people go through their different emotions at different ages and they battle with things differently.
Um, yes. So the first time, no. In high school, I didn't think about it. I was still young. I didn't know. I didn't even realize it was depression until a few years later. I think like once I hit like 20 or something like that, I finally started realizing. I think that's what that is. This depression. When I kept having those feelings on and off, not a suicide, but just the sadness and things of that nature, I realized I'm dealing with on and off depression. Start realizing those signs, but during that time, no, I didn't realize like I was in depression, and because of everything that I was going through, and so many times I tried reaching out to people, tried talking to people, and basically never got that shoulder or that ear, the listening ear, or nobody who cared, in my opinion, or did anything. I never felt the need to reach out to talk to somebody about it because I felt like nobody cares. Nobody's going to listen anyway. Nobody's listened to me this far when I express my emotions, go to for help and things of that nature. So what's going to be different anytime this time? It's just easier to just...
You basically just shut out because no one was even trying to hear, like, I am screaming for help. I am suicidal. Y'all really don't care regardless. I don't need to approach it with, oh, I need help. Again, you shut down.
How did you try to reach out?
Like, it wasn't when I was suicidal. Once I got to suicidal, I didn't even try reaching out no more. It was basically leading up to the depression. When I was sad, I reached out to family members to take me out of the situation that was triggering and causing the depression, things of that nature. Tried talking to friends. School, I would stay extra late with certain teachers that I was cool with, or things like that, and staying out with friends and stuff like that. Like, I tried.
Like, you told the teachers? Like,
I didn't tell them exactly everything, but I basically was leaving signs. Like, I didn't want to go home. I was better off at school. Like, I'd rather be at school than at home and things of that nature. I wasn't going straight home. One of my principals I actually did tell, but will kind of tell in a certain way. Like, I told him I don't want to go home. And he basically was questioning, like, why? And during that time, basically, my mom called up to the school, gave the principal a certain lie. So I looked at bad in the situation. He thought I was basically a teenager acting out and basically up to no good and stuff like that, when that wasn't the case. It was a lot of, in my eyes, I feel like for people in the education field and things like that who are trained, it was signs there that they could have seen, and I feel like it was ignored. Me being an adult now, back then it just was like nobody's listening, nobody's paying attention, which is an adult now. Y'all are trained for certain stuff and this type of things, and y'all still didn't see it. Like, y'all talk about it, but y'all still didn't see it or pay attention. So
do you mind, like, for anybody that's viewing and maybe in the education system or anything, and they see, so, like, giving some signs, specific signs? I know you said you would tell them, so you said one that you would tell them that you don't want to go home. Like, any other things that you were doing that you can give out to, like, the educated side, or other people in public service, or just people that, you know, the kids are battling something, you know,
kids in school.
It started off gradually. Like, you could tell I was missing. It started off maybe a day or two, then it went to missing a week, then a week. The times went longer, and I went from, if you're a teacher and you know your students, and your students start off as a straight A student. Like, if you see my freshman year, sophomore year, straight A's and B's. I never had anything under a B. Then when I got to this year, started off first semester A's and B's, and the next thing you know, everything went down to D's and F. If you know your
Yeah.
students and you see a gradual, drastic drop in their grades, you start noticing absentees out of nowhere. They're not paying attention. They start doing things out of the normal that's not their character that you know. They come to school, they do classwork, they're social, and all of a sudden they're not as social. They're not doing their classwork or doing things like that. They're skipping school. They're not coming to school. Even if you do start noticing certain substance abuse and things like that, they are hanging out with a different type of crowd that they normally wouldn't hang out with, things of that nature. They don't want to go home or stuff like that. Pay attention to the signs. If they're sleeping more in class, because I basically, their lack of care stops. Like when I was at school during those times, I went to class and went straight to sleep. Like I came in the classroom and went to sleep. And then half the time, by the end of the period, halfway through class, I went home. I wasn't there. I left with friends, left school, point blank, period. Like I didn't care. I stopped caring altogether. If they're coming to you and directly telling you, even if they're not saying it directly, this is going on, such and such and such, pay attention to the subtle signs. Like, I don't want to go home, or yeah, I could go, but I want to stay a little bit longer. Is it okay if I stay a little extra after school and stuff? Like, it's all types of certain signs and things like that that you can really pay attention to. Like, those were the main signs of what I noticed I did a lot of.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you guys for
and
joining
definitely pay
us.
attention to their arms and things of that nature, because sometimes before they get to that point, like I said, I was self-harming myself and things like that. So that was.
Were you doing that? Were you in school then? So
I didn't do it at school. I did it at home.
Well, I mean, like, but you were doing it when you were in school. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm gonna get into it before I answer.
Comments.
Yes. So Tika said mental struggle is serious. It's hard to hear, you guys. No, but no, she have not experienced or tried to commit suicide, but she has had close people experiencing suicidal thoughts and wanted to end their life. I take it seriously, and I pray those people get to a space where they can be open about it and seek help. And that is so true. That is so true, friend.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep it rolling. For me, have you ever experienced or tried to commit suicide? And what did it feel like? So, yes, everyone is viewing. I have tried to commit suicide, but I didn't do it. Like it was suicidal thoughts for months, just horrific. It was horrible for months, for about 6 months, and I was in a dark space. I had lost my mom. For you guys who don't know, we have the same mom, but I lost my mom. I was in a terrible space. Life didn't exist. The world didn't exist. I didn't know what was going on around me. My bills were behind. I could not focus on anything. Life was just shut down. It was very black. It was very dark. It was horrific, and it was hard, and it's still traumatic. I'm more open to speaking about mental health and about suicide and things like that, because I used to think that people were exaggerating. I'm just being bluntly honest with y'all. When people used to be like, oh, you know, my mental health, I'm this, I'm that, and I used to be like, what? Like, I think people be going like overboard. Like, I was one of those people until life slapped me in the face and I had to experience something very traumatic, and then I understood the depths and that pain and that heart and that traumatic, and sometimes it replays in my head the space that I'm in now to where I was. And shout out to God. I extremely am blessed and thankful for God's glory and God's protection and pulling me up out of that, because I literally don't know how I would even still be sitting here. It was suicidal thoughts telling me to do suicidal attempts. And I just wanted to end it. I felt like there was nothing for me to live for. Even though I have loved ones, I have family, the person that's so sacred and close to me is no longer here. And it's tough. It's really tough to even just say that just now out loud, because I'm still grieving from that still to this day. So It was very tough, and it was definitely horrific. But God still had a purpose, so I'm still here today. So I wanted to share that.
So do you think, because I do remember as being your sister, we would have conversations and I would be like, that's really real. People, I didn't experience it. But I'm like, people really experience, those thoughts and things. And I remember you definitely used to be like, I don't get it, like that, basically like that can't be real.
Yeah, I did.
So
I
do
didn't
you think that also your experience was so strong because you did not saying you down those people, but you were like, what? Because you were very strong about that. So do you think your experience could have doubled because of that?
No.
Do I believe
Do I believe in you have to watch what you say. Karma is real for all of us. I mean, everyone in this world. But no, I think my experience, I don't think, I know my experience was that detrimental because I literally never imagined life without my mom. I never seen it. I never thought of it. I never pictured. I knew one day she would leave, but I didn't know that early, that soon. And also, you guys, my mom's death happened out of nowhere. It wasn't like, oh, it's an illness going on or anything. It was a life unexpected, right? And we know life is unexpected. So it tortured me. It me up. And I didn't even realize that I was even in that dark space. So it's actually, or even knew that it was even this until I was like, oh, wow, I'm in this. It's real. Does that make sense?
So it after you came out of it, or did you realize it?
Yes, it was after, because while I was in it, I don't even know what was happening to me. Like I was so far gone, guys. Like it was a mess. But that is a good question. But no, that's not what happened with me. But again, I said it, and you have to live in your truth. I really feel like a lot of people was exaggerating. That's what I thought. Like, oh, you're exaggerating, or like, what's going on? Because they experienced something that was so traumatic to them, whether it was death or anything else. It's a lot of things that can cause this. So whatever their reason was, I just didn't understand it. I was uneducated, me. And I feel like a lot of times when we are uneducated or we don't know what we're saying, we really think that we know what we're saying, and we really don't. Until you're slapped in the face with something with life experience, and you have to go through your ropes. But that was a good question. So the next question is, what was the attempt end result of? Like, what was your attempt? And I think we all pretty much just answered it. What was the reason for your attempt? Like with suicide? Of course, I already explained it. Mine was my mother. She already explained hers. Then Miss D explained hers.
Yeah, my thigh.
What was the attempt end result of is the question. We're going to go ahead and keep going, guys. Are you a survivor of suicide? And are you happy you survived? Now, this is a deep one because I know that's not easy for someone to answer openly. But I'll answer it first. I am a survivor of suicide because suicide almost took me out of here. Okay? Are you a survivor of suicide? And are you happy you survived? Am I happy I survived? Yes, I am. Do I still feel so lost and so alone and so confused often? Yes. Do I still always want to be with my mom again? Yes. But I feel like that day will come when God said it's my time. And my job while I'm here on earth is to make sure that I am going to be able to see my mom again. So I think for me, it's like surviving suicide. For me, I didn't realize how big it was, but I feel like if you survive suicide, you can survive anything, because it's really a really traumatic and dark thing. But yeah, I am happy that I survived, and I'm gonna keep rocking it out and standing tall until my time comes. Miss Danielle, are you a survivor of suicide?
I wouldn't say I'm a survivor of suicide because I haven't attempted anything. I would say I'm a survivor of suicidal thoughts.
Yes,
I
same
would
for
say
me.
that.
Yes.
Um, so yes, in that, but not in regards to suicide itself.
Okay. All right. Are you happy that you survived your suicidal thoughts?
Oh yes, I am definitely.
Misty, are you a survivor of suicide or suicidal thoughts? It's same thing wrapped in one.
Well, I'm a survivor of both because I actually did attempt to take my own life. And like I said, God apparently clearly had other plans for me because I tried to OD, like I said, and I basically still here. I didn't go to the hospital or anything. I didn't have to get my stomach pumped or things like that. So clearly he had another thing for me. Instead, I just threw up real bad, but I'm still here. I survived it. Now, during the first attempt, was I happy that I was still here? No. I was actually very devastated. I did attempt it again shortly after the same way, but no, I was not happy. And then once that was unsuccessful, I ran to other ways to kind of numb that pain, or basically, you can, in a way, you could say I was slowly killing myself. I ran to sex, still substance abuse, and things of that nature. And then sex, I had other reasons with it on top of it, but I basically tried to do it in other ways, in other forms, if you want to look at it in a deeper light. Um, but after the second go round, and I had the plan is the suicide thoughts.
Mom,
I am a survivor of suicide thoughts the second go round. And the second round, I am happy that I have survived. I am happy. I finally found purpose. I finally found happiness. I found the reason why I was still here, why God brought me through the first go round and everything. Um, the reason why I'm still here today. So yes, I'm happy now.
I love that, and I'm happy you're here too.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so happy you're here. I'm happy you survived your thoughts and your attempt. I'm happy that I survived my attempt, my thoughts. I'm happy she survived her thoughts. And guess what? We're happy you guys survived your suicide attempt and thoughts. Because guess what? We all still here for a reason. So I do want to ask for the next question, Miss D, whenever you're ready. What advice do you give someone that's battling suicide? So I'm going to go first on this one. So the advice I give you is to understand that you are fighting against something that's painful, something that's traumatic, and something that's trying to defeat you, right? Let's be honest. So what you have to understand is that you have that willpower. You have God to bring you through everything, okay? I don't know what everybody's religion is, okay? So I'm just speaking from what my advice is. You want to do whatever you can to keep praying and pushing through. In my case, I'm going to be bluntly honest with y'all. I wasn't doing any of that. I was far gone. It was so dark. It was so horrific and it was so painful. I didn't know which way I was going, okay? God did that for me. I didn't have any role in it. All I did was basically get picked up because I still had a reason to be here. My advice is to understand what you're fighting against, okay? And once you understand what you're fighting against, you can continue to push through day by day. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be, oh, I'm over it, especially if it was something traumatic. Now, like my sister said in her case, she snapped out of it and she had to keep pushing through for her reasons. And that may be something that can help you guys. I would definitely say, please tell your family and friends. Please seek therapy and help. And please understand that you are not fighting alone in this. It's actually very common, you guys. It's very common. I don't want people to feel embarrassed anymore about their mental health or about suicide or any of that. It is very common that people are fighting these things. People are just embarrassed to actually openly say, I am battling with my mental health and I'm battling it with suicidal thoughts or attempts or any of that. And I feel crazy. I feel like I'm not myself. I don't know what's going on. And it's making me emotional now because a lot of people are constantly judged for saying, I feel crazy or I feel like I need some help. And it's like, what's wrong with you? That's the first thing people say is, what's wrong with you? They look down upon you and they try to use things against you. When in reality, I want to let you guys know that's only because they're battling with their things and they're not able to be as honest and open and truthful as you. The strength is you because you're able to say, I have an issue and I feel crazy and something's going on. And I want you guys to know that please do not stop fighting for yourself. Please do not stop pushing through for yourself. You are worthy, you are loved, and you are the reason that somebody is still here today. So please keep going. Please do not ever stop. Do not ever give up on yourself. And I love y'all, and I mean it wholeheartedly. Because it doesn't matter who says, oh, so-and-so losing it, they're crazy, nothing's wrong with them, they're faking it. Like, do not let any of that get to you. Know that you can defeat anything that's being thrown at you. And do not let suicide win. Okay? Please do not. I love you. That's what I have to say. My advice.
My advice, I will only speak from my own personal experience with, having a suicidal thought will be, because this is just what I did.
Yeah.
Would to be take a deep breath, try to regroup your thoughts, try to regroup your mind, maybe be in a quiet, lone space, even if it's just for a moment. Because like I said, I had kids, so, you don't really get too much quiet moments with children, right away anyway. And sometimes people don't ever. But be in that quiet space, regroup your thoughts, take a deep breath, think about what you have to live for, think about what pushes you or whatever it is that's positive. Because that's what I did. And also, as Miss Tamika mentioned, I know it was God as well that said, get on up, let's go, let's get going back to the routine. Now I have never really had a chance to sit down and grieve any of the deaths that I've experienced in my life because I have to keep going, I have to keep pushing. One day I'll probably seek therapy for that and other things as well.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I have to keep going, I have to keep pushing. I don't have time to sit there and soak in the sorrows, And it's not about someone being a tough person or anything like that because, yes, that's been my personality. I don't have time to dwell on this and sit in this. I just don't have time for that. But it can be helpful to, maybe seek someone future-wise to work out some things, whether therapy or someone that you can just talk to personally that you feel, definitely comfortable in telling, anything beneath the surface that you wanted to speak on.
I also want to say, my advice, since we're giving out advice, a lot of y'all family and friends need to stop being so shitty when someone's telling you, I am struggling today, or I'm struggling this month, or these past months. I'm really out of it. That person is literally telling you right in your face, I am struggling in some form or shape, right? Even if they don't go into detail. They're literally telling you. And a lot of y'all are literally just brushing it behind y'all ears. And y'all really don't give a fuck, okay? Y'all don't care. And these people are literally telling you, I am struggling. You know how hard it is to admit to people, and it's making me emotional because I have literally told people numerous of times I am struggling right now, or I'm struggling for the last past whatever. If people will literally just look at me like I'm crazy, or they really don't have much to say or nothing to support me on, and it really hurts. Not only because it's like, damn, like what if something happened to me, but it's like, can we all make sure that we love it on each other while we all still here on earth? Because it's like, do you know how hard it is to openly say out your mouth that I am struggling or I'm not okay? That is not easy for someone to say or admit because it's looked down upon. And it makes me emotional because it's like, damn, like, can people honestly, authentically say to their loved ones, I'm not okay or I'm struggling, without somebody judging them or just basically pushing it behind their ears and not caring? And I think about not even just the adults, these kids that are struggling with their daily mental health, and these parents and other adults are not seeing them. And it makes me emotional because a lot more kids are literally harming themselves and they're taking their lives. And it's like, we gotta break these generational curses, you guys. And we have to really start setting the example, because I see more and more that kids are hanging themselves, they're harming themselves. And it's like, only if they were just heard or talked to and their feelings were actually accepted. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just want to put that out there.
I definitely think that people should tell their friends and family. Now, I'll be lying if I do. I don't. I like to deal with stuff on my own. Now, that may be something that I obviously have to find out why is that. But I always been a loner though, so it's in me. Being a loner and dealing with my own stuff. I that's just me. But I do agree that you probably should tell someone or mention it to someone, you know, friends and family, especially that you trust. But like I said, I know I don't personally do that, but I do agree that you should, or even write it down, tell the journal, do something. I definitely agree.
Yes, definitely journaling helps me a lot. Thank goodness I haven't had to worry about any of the suicidal situation since my mom. I hope I never have to deal with that ever again in my life, because I have that armor and that protection on me. Back then I didn't, and I can be honestly open about that as well. But that's another story. But I'm really emotional because I think about what I've been through, and I think about these kids and the next generation, and it just breaks my heart. So yeah, Misty, what do you have to say?
I agree with that, especially being a kid going through it myself. And I definitely realize that nobody really pays attention to children or their mental health.
So bad.
Honestly, kids' mental health is actually brushed off, and it's always basically them being a kid. They don't know what depression is. They don't know. They don't have nothing to be depressed about. Their kids and everything like that. It's definitely brushed off and belittled when kids do deal with the same emotions we deal with, possibly could be stronger because they are younger and things of that nature. But some advice I would give going through that situation is definitely think about one good thing in your life. Think about that one good thing that's worth living for, or that person that's worth living for, and use that as your crutch or your anchor to help guide you or pull you back out of it. Also,
that's amazing.
I know for a lot of people, especially me, when you are ready to talk about it stuff, sometimes it's not easy to talk to family or friends or people you know, and there's some things that you don't even want to express to them. Like when I was going through it the second time, it was a lot of things that I was going through mentally and stuff that I didn't want to talk to anyone I knew about, period, about it. I wanted to keep to myself or whatever. But there are platforms out here now for mental health, to help with your mental health, help you. And it's a lot of people in the same situation who deal with suicide, suicidal thoughts, and things of that nature. And you can be anonymous on, you could be whoever you are, and they don't know who you is, but they can actually relate to you. They're in the same boat as you, and you can actually openly express yourself to them and things of that nature. And I found that very helpful as well, because it was a lot of people in the same situation as me who understood, and I had that nice what's the word I'm looking for? How do you say? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. That I could be confidential and knowing nobody knew who I was, so it was secret. Yeah. And nobody knew, so it was like nobody could. My fear was nobody would go back and tell the people I love my plans or what I was thinking. I was very paranoid about that. So I had that comfort that nobody knew who I was and things of that nature. But I also got the comfort that I got support from people giving me encouraging words and things of that nature, and sharing their story. But they was in the same situation as me, because I know a lot of people, and I think another issue is a lot of people don't like going to get help, even when we need it, and talking to therapists. And a lot of big issue is with therapists and things, if they haven't been through your situation, or they haven't dealt with mental health, or they haven't been suicidal and things of that nature, we don't want to talk to them, or you don't want to talk to them, because they don't know what you are going through personally. They haven't been in your shoes. And a lot of people, when you want to talk to people or things of that nature, you want somebody who can relate to you in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like those platforms are very beneficial when you're in those mindsets and things of that nature. And they're very helpful. And you can get that help when you are scared to go to family and friends of that nature. There are other options out here to kind of help assist you, so you can also make the right decision, so you can stay here, be here for your loved ones and things of that nature, and you have a support system. Because a lot of times, sometimes we feel like we don't have support or things of that nature, or like I said, you have that support, but you don't want to go to them, or you're scared to go to them, or whatever the reason is. You can still have that support system. There's always somebody out here who cares, who loves you and things of that nature, and wants to see you here. We all have a purpose. You just got to believe it. And like I said, also find that one thing in your life that brings you peace, love, joy, and basically that one reason to keep going. Make that your anchor. That's what I did.
I honestly think a lot of people don't want to go to friends and family, even if they are supportive, because, like you said, for one day, some could be afraid to submit what could be happening. But I think even if they are supportive people, they still can be judgmental. A lot of family and friends try to pour stuff onto a person that has nothing to do with their ideology, so they don't want to go talk to them.
Yes.
No matter how supportive you may think you are, you might not be that support that person needs. And I feel like a lot of people need to realize that
just go to
you may
anybody.
not be
just
that
we
support.
gave you several options.
You may be
we want you to stay alive.
That person may not want to hear, don't need to hear at that moment. That you may think that they need to hear, but that's not really what they need to hear. And your method is not working.
That's what I was gonna say. Sometimes it's love,
I feel like
but
regardless,
delivery or what you.
I think for me, I don't care where you go. We just want you to still be alive. We want you to fight for the life until it's time for you to go. Whether you go to your family or friend, whether you go to a therapist, whether you hit up the hotline, whether you go anonymously, just what we're saying is, please seek help, seek out. That's what I'm saying overall. I feel like for me, please, we want you to fight and stay alive, okay? So the last thing is not really a question, it's a statement. So the statement to everyone, us, the three ladies and you guys watching around the world. The question is, are you aware of the signs? And I want you to think about that, and I want you to take that with you throughout your life moving forward. are you aware of the suicidal signs? And if you're not, then you need to be. Okay, that goes for all of us. Because we can literally save a life by literally just paying attention to the signs. You know, it hurts me a lot that people don't even ask me, how are you today? Like, I literally ask everybody I love that all the time. And nobody ever asks me, like, how are you today? You know how that can actually help someone stay alive? Because when they answer that question, they're able to vent or express how they're feeling. Now, they may not go into details, but they might say, hey, I'm okay today, but I'm actually struggling. Or, you know what, today's actually a great day. Like, it doesn't take anything to just check on your people, okay? Let's start learning how to check in on each other, okay? I love you guys, and I want us to definitely protect each other and stay sacred. So start asking yourself, are you paying attention to the signs? And I wanted to read something to you guys before we go, okay? I just want to advise everyone that's watching around the world, suicide and suicidal thoughts are actually common, okay?
I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Okay.
He's hungry and that he's giving us a sign. Okay? So I do want to let you guys know, all jokes aside, okay? Suicide and suicidal thoughts are relatively common, okay? I'm going to read that again. Suicide and suicidal thoughts are relatively common. Suicidal thoughts do not mean that someone is weak or flawed. I want to read that again. Suicidal thoughts do not mean that someone is weak or flawed. Continue to understand suicidal signs and risks. Okay? And one last thing I want to leave you guys with before we go. Okay? Suicide is a leading cause of death in the United States and a major public health concern. When a person dies by suicide, the effects are felt by the family, friends, and communities. This is a sign to start paying attention and seeking help for your friends and family members. Learn more about the warning signs of suicides, ways to help prevent suicides, and effective treatment options. And I wanted to leave that with you guys today. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to end it there. I just want to say before we go, this was very nervous, a nerve show for me. This is not the first one. I've had plenty of shows where I've been nervous. But I love to live in my truth, and I love to express who I am and who I'm growing into be. So we do not judge here. We heal and we love. So that's what I want to say. Miss Danielle, Miss D, before we go, anything?
I just want to say, keep moving forward, keep pushing, and have that thing in your life that you can live for.
Just, you got this. Whether you might not see it right now or think it is going to get better. You have this. There's people out here who know what you're going through, who feel the same pain that you feel, and you're not alone, and they can help you. You just have to look for it, and don't worry. You got it, and you're going to get through it. Don't give up.
Yes. So we love y'all. This show is definitely needed. Catch us for the next 2 weekends, giving it to y'all real raw and uncut. This is a safe space. We're going to heal together. We're going to grow together. And more than likely, and more than anything, we're going to love on each other. Hashtag be the change you want to see in this world. And as we always say, hashtag kicking it raw, hashtag raw, hashtag real authentic women. We out.
Have a good night.
It looks like you get up.
Mm-hmm.